Hello world, welcome to the 65th climate change emergency protest. I'm here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is March 6, 2020, and the next one will be number 66. That'll be on the 13th of March at 11 a.m. Here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So presently the coronavirus is spreading around the world. The United States seems to be spreading slowly. However, I doubt the figures because there aren't testing kits available, so therefore they don't know who has coronavirus and who doesn't. So if you don't test for it, you don't know if you have it. So based on the number of deaths so far, which is 12 or 13 or whatever it is, indications would be it'd probably be in the 600 range, 600 people. My guess is it's a lot higher than that, but we'll find out. Evidently, there's two strains of coronavirus out now, and one is more lethal and aggressive than the other. The other has been around forever. It's been in different animals in China and everything, and people might have had it all along, but the aggressive one is one that kills everyone. So there's a shortage of masks in the United States. There's a shortage of disinfectants such as Lysol and whatnot. People are in a panic mode, which because the government doesn't tell you the truth as to what's happening. We got the CDC, Center for Disease Control, tells you to stay home and don't infect others. Then you have Donald Trump saying it's okay to go to work with coronavirus. A lot of people get over it, and it's not a big deal, basically. And that's really insane talk, what's going on here, and it's uninformed, and he doesn't listen to his own advisors because he has hunches that things are going on that flies right in the face of science. So we got a numbskull in charge. We got a numbskull in charge of the whole operation, which is Pence, because he was in charge of the HIV, or governor of Indiana, and under that, when he was governor of Indiana, he didn't allow needle exchange program, evidently, or something or other. So HIV, which was under control, ended up going up rampant in Indiana at the time. So yeah, put someone in charge that absolutely does not believe in science, and here we are. So in Africa right now, the locust situation, as far as I understand, continues to get worse. Has a potential of getting 400 times worse, because they don't have the pesticides, which I don't agree with spraying pesticides everywhere anyway, because eventually it comes home to haunt you. But I don't, it's one of those climate change situations where it rained excessively in the deserts of Arabia, and these are desert locusts, and they spread westward into Africa, and now they're having a field day eating all the plants and the crops of the farmers and of the people. And it's a real bad situation, and what you're seeing is systemic racism in the media, and by they don't report it. I spent 20-30 minutes trying to find an updated situation on the locust situation, and I couldn't find anything. I mean, it was the last thing I found was a couple days old, and it was just one article. So it's systemic racism against the brown people of the world and black people of the world. But that's nothing new. That's what white world enjoys doing, evidently, to those who are not like them. And hopefully someone will report on the locust situation as to what's happening there in Africa. It's really devastating, and it's gonna be a lot of deaths resulting from it. I don't know if it'd be in the millions, but it's one death is more than enough. We report about coronavirus, but we don't report about locust situation going on. So you got Europe that was in over the winter. They were 3.4 degrees Celsius warmer over the whole winter, which is 6+ degrees Fahrenheit. And you're getting a shift in the climate going on right now. For example, here in Gettysburg, we hardly had any snow. Yeah, it's kind of cold this morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's 35, 32 degrees, which is 0 degrees Celsius, maybe 1 degree Celsius. But it's supposed to be cold. But, today the high will be 49 degrees Fahrenheit. But by Monday, it'll be 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is way out of line. Several deviations above normal. So we got a situation developing that makes me wonder what's going to happen in the summer. The weather's hard to predict because the jet stream's shot, but all indication is something's happening worldwide. Whether we're entering a hothouse Earth. There's the thing called the event horizon where, the theory is once you get to the edge of the black hole, you don't know you're really in it until you look back later and go, oh, I guess that's when we entered it. And I'm wondering if we have not had a climate shift, this is my term, a climate shift in the whole world's weather and the heating of the globe as to what's happening right now. And something severe is really happening, and I don't know if scientists are noticing it or not, but in my mind, the temperature is starting to jump, and it's going unnoticed because we're so caught up in politics and coronaviruses, which are important, but the overarching problem is going to be the climate change situation and starvation once the food situation erupts, and there won't be food available for people. And the coronavirus and locusts are an indication that things can go very bad very quickly. We're all connected as a society, and there is no peeing into the pool. Okay, so whatever happens in one area affects the whole world. So you sneeze and everyone feels it around you. So that's the kind of situation we're in right now. With all the air travel and transportation we have available, no one is really that far apart from anyone else. So with the coronavirus, the particulate masking effect being tested, and this has been the theory, is that there's so much pollution in the air, it's been saving us, which is convoluted thinking, but the more pollution you have in the air, the more sun that is reflected back into the atmosphere. Now, CO2 is a side effect of that, and that's not a good thing. That's a greenhouse gas. So it's, good on one side and bad on the other. So now with the coronavirus, there's less manufacturing, less transportation, less air travel going on. So you're seeing a clearing up of the atmosphere. And I anticipate a change in temperature throughout the globe as a result of this. When 9/11 happened, the temperature around the United States, I think, jumped 1 degree, pretty quickly, because there was less particulate masking up in the atmosphere. And now we're seeing this, this clearing of the atmosphere around China and all. And I suspect it might cause a jump in the temperatures because, you have a situation developing where, the sunlight is going to come in, strike the earth, and then the greenhouse gas traps the heat as a result. So, it's a very dangerous situation going on, and we're our own petri dish right now in our science experiment. It's a very interesting science experiment. Problem is, we are the experiment. So, the whole world is connected, as I said. The Paris Agreement that everyone keeps saying, the United States is going to get back into, it's a noble idea and everything, but the Paris Agreement says that, we're complacent, we're okay with 2 degrees rise in temperature Celsius, and in reality, a 1.5 degrees rise in temperature is catastrophic. So far, we're experiencing all these issues with a 1.1 degree increase in temperature. If we go to 1.5 and then 2 degrees Celsius increase in temperature, it's going to be devastating, fatal, and catastrophic. So we need something more stringent and more aggressive than the Paris Agreement. And obviously, there isn't any push for that right now. The problem with humans is they don't recognize problems in the future. They only recognize, and it's a biological thing, they only recognize immediate problems and they respond to that. And, you need people involved that have clear-headed thinking and can think ahead as to what's happening. And right now, you don't have people in charge that way. They're all about making money, keeping their power, and they're not doing the good for humanity. So you need a systemic change in the whole situation, our manufacturing, our idea about capitalism, and the idea about political power and who should be in charge and what we should be doing. This isn't a light switch that's going to happen in 2100, as they keep saying, or 2050 or 2030. It's going to be a change, and it's more like a thumb screw. It gets tighter and tighter, and it's not going to let loose. Once it takes a hold, and which it's doing now, the thumb screw will get tighter and tighter, and all of a sudden you realize you're in a lot of pain. And that's what's happening now, is that you're starting to see situations develop around the world that are not good and semi-catastrophic for those who died. For us who's observing it in the United States, hold on, Truck Alley right now. If you're observing it, it doesn't seem catastrophic, but if you're experiencing it, it's a catastrophic situation as to what's happening. So, it's whether you're outside or inside the situation, and eventually we all end up inside the situation. Right now we need boots on the ground. It's, granted it is 8 o'clock in the morning and it is 35 degrees out, but, people got to toughen up and realize their kids are in danger. And not only their kids, they're in danger right now, okay? So it goes beyond just your children and 7 generations from now. It's going to become an immediate problem. And as you can see from the shelves with the coronavirus, with the panic, people are taking all the meat, people are taking this, people are taking that. And in the United States, the land of plenty, you got shelves that are empty. So does that wake people up as to, the potentiality of what could happen with climate change? No, because people can't think ahead. They're thinking about immediate problems. So we need boots on the ground. We need people to be protesting, blah, 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 and putting pressure on politicians, whether local or national politicians. Your local politicians can do things too, a lot of green things, and that would put pressure on the national politicians eventually. Also you need to put pressure on the media. Campaigns like this, talking on Facebook, if you see a newspaper person or a television person, go up to them, go, why aren't you covering climate change? This is a huge issue, and we're at risk. And most of those people have family. I don't think they came out of a cabbage patch. So, if you put it in a personal way, they could understand it and maybe go back to their bosses and say, hey, we need to cover this issue. And eventually it's going to come down to they're not going to care about their jobs. They just want to broadcast, what the situation is, and they'll get fired by the droves because corporate media is controlled by 6 families. So we are in a life and death struggle, and we need to stay away from the distractions. Yes, coronavirus is important, and the political situation is extremely important, but the overall issue is, the climate change thing. This election coming up, you really need to decide who you want as your president of the United States. I understand about going and not changing, rocking the boat too much and trying to get laws through, but the laws they're trying to put through are not the laws we need at this point. We need action, and we need action that is hardcore and go at it. If you stay the status quo situation, you're going to end up dead. This is the last chance we have to mitigate the situation. We're not getting out of this. There's going to be a horrible result as to what's happening, but it's how horrible you want it to be. So this president, you got to think clearly and quit thinking about who can beat Trump or what Trump can do for us or whatever. And you got to really set that back, look at your kids and go, is this the life I want them to have? Do I want a Mad Max situation where they're struggling just to survive? So when you go to the voting booth, think twice, who you want in there and if someone's going to change things or not. And if that person is really about climate change or not, they'll mouth it, but do they really mean it, and will they take action? And I think if you really were honest with yourself, rather than worrying about political dogma, you would realize that most likely your politician is very inert and willing to stay the status quo. They're mouthing, yeah, we're going to change this or that, but they're not going to do anything. So go to the voting booth, think twice when you vote as to who you want in there, and whether you want your kids to survive in a horrible situation or a less horrible situation. It's up to you. So as I said, the next climate change rally is on March 13th. It'll be number 66 at that time at 11 a.m. here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. See you later.